So next up, for our team reviews, I'm just gonna go down the list. And next up, we got Riggleman, Joanadon. I think he's gonna change his team name then. It's pretty cool to do like Fortna and then Riggs because you'll kind of see what I was talking about in Fortna's draft, where I won't be talking about it as much with Riggs' draft. So start off with Freddie Freeman, first round. It's a first round pick. We talked about this already. You're not, unless if there's an injury, you're not gonna really miss on this. Little surprising with the Freeman pick. I think 1B is just so loaded. That was for us. It was Vlad or Tucker. It didn't fall to us, but I was almost leaning Tucker more just because of how loaded the 1B is. But that's just kind of my opinion. And then round two, we go with Marte. I mean, 2B is complete opposite. I think 2B is horrible. So, I mean, to load up Kettle in round two, two really good picks. I will say, let me take a sip of my coffee. I will say the only thing that I think is a little concerning with Freeman and Marte is Freeman is, 36, getting ready to touch 37, I think, by the end of the year or close to. You got to think some type of decline is coming. I mean, you can't do it forever unless if he's LeBron, but I don't know if Freeman's LeBron. But and then with Marte, it's the injury thing. I've been a fan of Marte for years and years and years, and this dude just gets hurt every year. It's just kind of it's safe but super risky at the same time, if that makes sense. Number three going Roman Anthony. Doesn't really feel like a Riggs pick, but I mean, you lock in pretty much elite OBP. I think the extra base hits will be around 50 plus. Strikeouts are a little high, but other than that, on a good Boston team, and that goes the same for Freddie too. I mean, he's just in the meat of the lineup with that Dodgers team, which is a huge help. But yeah, this is where, you see why Riggs is so successful because we're going to get to pick four with CJ Abrams. And you go up at you look at the first three picks and it's like, okay, OBP, pretty much elite, extra base hits, pretty much feeling elite-ish. And then it's like, okay, well, I don't have any stolen bases. And that's when he goes CJ Abrams. And the reason why the pick fits so much is like a puzzle piece. Like, that's how I try looking at it all the time. You're, like, trying to fill in this puzzle. And Abrams isn't an OBP guy. And at face value, I would never draft Abrams. I don't like him. It's just me. It's just, I'm not a fan of him. I think he's a little overrated. But in this scenario, it just works out really good because you have a lead OBP through 3 rounds, and you can take that hit for them stolen bases. And Abrams also, hits doubles, scores runs. I think the RBIs are pretty low. But overall, it's just like it's a puzzle piece, And that's where it's like, okay, I can take this hit in OBP, and I can take the stolen bases and pretty much get everything else with that. And then he kind of doubles down with Michael Harris. Another pick that I personally don't like. I know in the Dynasty League, which for someone as young as Michael Harris, I mean, we got him super late in the Dynasty League. And then for him in a redraft league to go 5, it feels early. The way I look at things when Bobby and I try to draft, like what we both look at is, can we wait for someone that can do almost the exact same thing? And if the answer is yes, it's kind of like a fade. No matter how much you want someone, you kind of have to weigh out what can I get from people down the line, and how can I fill out the team with the most eliteness would be the simplest way, I guess, of saying it, where it's like, and this is just me, but during this draft, I think this might have been a really, really good spot for Riggs to go with an SP. I don't know which ones were available at the time, but now I get it. The ceiling of Michael Harris, it's definitely a risky pick, and I don't think Riggs even likes the pick if I had to ask him, but I know he's been on this guy for years and years, and it's kind of like playing blackjack. You lose three hands in a row, and then it's like, oh, I can't lose the fourth year, and it's kind of like the same with Michael Harris, where I feel like he's drafted him 3 years in a row, and it's like, well, let's quadruple down on this guy. But yeah, I wasn't. This is the one pick that I'm iffy about. I wish he would have went more SP there and got locked up in a more elite SP and said, hey, I can find a Michael Harris down the line, whether it's like a Dalen Lyle or someone that's just my opinion. Again, everyone has their own reasoning for why they do things, but just in my opinion, that's how it felt there. Devin Williams, I mean, the dude looked at Bobby and I after he drafted him. It was funny. I just looked over and Riggs is just looking at us right after the pick. I think Devin Williams is going to be the number one saves guy this year. The underlying statistics last year say that he had like an xERA of 3.1 or something like that. He started off kind of shaky. Last year he's coming off of a really big injury. And yeah, I think Devin Williams would be the number one saves guy this year. I like going round 6, getting that eliteness in the saves category and locking that up. Also, ERA, whip, Ks. I mean, he's going to do it all. Byron Buxton, if he plays, he's really, really good. So that's how I look at it with him. When you look at the Ks, he can eat them for the most part, it looks like. He doesn't have anyone like super elite yet on the Ks. But and definitely adds that up a little, but he gets all the extra base hits with that. I don't think Byron steals that much, but I could be wrong. Again, biggest concern, he had one healthy season last year, gets hurt all the time. Hopefully he stays healthy for you. Then you go Sheehan, another starting pitcher that I really like. Again, it's kind of like the swap of Michael Harris and Sheehan, where I wish you would have got a little more proven SP in round 5 and maybe took your bat here at 8 or even got another SP. But I don't have a problem with Sheehan. The only concern there really is there's not a huge sample size to go off of, but as long as he can stay in the rotation, I think he'll be fine. 9 went with Caleb Durbin. Riggs loves this guy, and there's kind of really not a reason not to. Doesn't strike out a ton, so there you go. Like, all right, might be a little high with K's after the Buxton. Let's take care of that. Stolen bases, still probably a little iffy. Let's take care of that. And, you take care of it with Durbin. Doesn't hurt you in the OBP category. The only real concern is where he's got a bat in the Boston lineup, but I don't think that's going to be that big of a deal. I think he can push like 6 or 7. Like Durbin's kind of like, your Steven Kwans of the league, your Sal Freliks of the league. Like, I love these players because they're just little guys that, they don't do it all. They're not flashy at all, but they're just so safe, and they allow you to go on like a bigger player like Buxton. It's like, okay, he might K a lot, but I can balance that out with Durbin, and that's what it's all about. It's all about the balancing out of things. So I really like the Durbin pick. I'm high on that dude too, just because, again, he's just safe. You know what you're gonna get from him, which is always nice to take. So in the 10th round, Riggs went with Uribe. I'm not gonna lie, I went on YouTube. I had to look up how to pronounce his name. I would have said Uribe or something. I don't know. It's Uribe. Uribe. So yeah, Riggs goes with Uribe. I love the pick. It's going after an elite RP. Not really sure what he's going to be. Is he going to be a saves guy? Is he going to be the holds guy? I don't think it really matters, honestly. I think the ratios are going to be there. We talked about already. Brewers relief pitching, just it's very tough to miss on them guys. And even if he's a holds guy, I mean, you could be looking at northwards of 35, 40 holds Or you could be looking at someone like a 2020, 20 saves, 20 holds. It's great to have people like that, in my opinion. So, yeah, that's a great pick. Then he goes with Peppa Step in round 11. I'm a big fan of Ryan Pepe. Or is it Pepio? Should have looked that one up too, I guess. But yeah, I like this pick mainly because of the stadium change. I think he gave up like 25 homers or something like that. But he's playing in a little league park, and I'm not. I'd have to look into it, but I have a feeling that a decent amount of them home runs that he gave up weren't like what's the word, no doubters. Yeah, I don't think they were all no doubters, meaning like in other ballparks they wouldn't have been home runs and they probably would have been outs, which lowers the ERA, lowers the home runs allowed. So yeah, just because of the ballpark, I do like the Peppa Step pick. So in round 12, Riggs goes with Ryan Walker. Again, I mean, you're kind of it kind of goes back to the Uribe pick. It's like, well, he might just be the Holtz guy, so maybe you need another saves person. Go with Ryan Walker. Love this dude. The only, I guess, concern that I have is if he can be good in the closer role. I don't think he's proven that yet, and we're all human, and sometimes just being in a certain role mentally just kind of messes everything up for you. Whether that's the case here or not, I'm not really sure. The K percentage was down a ton last year, which I think is a little concerning considering how big of a K guy Ryan Walker is. But it's a piece to have, and it's a good piece to have. And if he ends up being a really good closer again, and Uribe somehow takes over the saves role, now you have a piece to give to someone else and get something in return for that. Yeah, Riggs drafted the whole I don't know how to pronounce your name team. That's what he should name his team. In round 13, he went with Tatsuya Amai. Whether that's right or not, I'm not sure, but we're gonna go with that. Yeah, there's a lot of praise for this guy. I'm very, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the whole coming from Japan. Now they're coming over to America to play in the MLB. Like, I feel like it works out sometimes and other times it doesn't work out. The one thing I will say here is that Amai, I believe, is coming from the really good Japan League, which is not the KBO. I forget what it is. I always forget the other one, but they say the KBO is like single A over here. And whatever league that Amai was in, they consider to be like triple A compared to U.S. baseball. So he had a lot of success over there. Everything looks pretty good when you jump on Fangraphs and look at his history. So I think that he can come over to America and be a really good starting pitcher. Round 14 goes Edward Cabrera. And you'll see it's like he went with the string of just pitchers because obviously the bats are good. The pitching's probably a little weaker. So it's like we need to start locking them picks in. 14, Edward Cabrera. Had like a little bit of a breakout last year. And they're claiming that he's going to be really good this year. Whether that's the case or not, I'm not sure. But yeah, hopefully he does his thing and has an even better season. Being on the Cubs team that has a great defense, I think that's going to help a lot. So definitely a possible breakout there. Round 15, Shane Baz. Literally kind of the same thing, except Shane Baz really wasn't good last year. But I am, with starting pitchers for sure, I'm a big fan of going with people that have really good stuff and they get traded to a team. And definitely something like Baltimore, where I feel like, you look at Trevor Rogers last year, and it plays a big role in some of these starting pitchers when, they get that change, or any player for what it's worth. There's a change that comes and they get a new pitching staff, and there's someone maybe on that staff that knows what the issue is. and they fixed that issue. And I could see Shane Baz being the best pitcher for Baltimore. So the ceiling, I feel like, is definitely there. And that's a great pick as well. Then he goes Sal Stewart at 1B. You go through his minor leagues, the WRC Plus has been really consistently good for a long time. And then you get a small sample size in MLB, but I think he's definitely a breakout candidate as well. And this is where, and this is what I try to stick by as well. Like, it's great to be safe and everything, but the later you get in the rounds, I think the more riskier you do want to get with your picks and take that chance of finding like that league winner instead of just trying to take the safe play. Round 17, Grant Taylor. We don't know what this guy's going to be, which I think is totally fine. I mean, his K percentage was absolutely elite last year. The underlying say was way better than whatever his like 4.5 ERA is. They're talking about stretching him out to be a starting pitcher, which I think could be a huge payoff down the road if that happens and he's really good. If not, he could be a saves guy. He could be an elite holds guy. I'm not really sure what position he's going or what role he's going to be in, but regardless, I think it'll be it's gonna work because he's just really good. Kyle Manzardo, you dropped him already. Good for you. I'm not a fan of him, so we'll skip that kind of. Carter Jensen, another guy where you look at the minors and he's been pretty much elite from a WRC plus standpoint. And last year in the small sample size, the dude was just kind of really, really good. I think the K percentage will be a little higher, but other than that, I mean, this dude is good and he can hit the ball. And not just for singles, like slapping Noah Arias stuff. Like he has some pop to his bat, and I think he was probably my favorite catcher to draft this year. But unfortunately, the way our team panned out, it was like we had to go with a little safer with Moreno. But big fan of Carter Jensen. Then you go with Chase in round 20. Another one of them guys. He's them plug-in guys that he's just not going to hurt you ever. And you know what? He might finish rank 500, but he doesn't strike out at all. He's pretty good at getting on base. And if there's a hole there, and that's one of them, he would be a great guy for Fortnite's team to just kind of plug in there and like not get too many counting stats, but everything else is just going to be safe for you. Round 21, Louis Varland. They're talking about him possibly taking over the saves role. Everyone loves him. He had a pretty good season last year. I don't think the underlines were super great, but velocity up to like 100 on his fastball. A lot of people like him. Yuri was your keeper. I'm trying to speed run through the rest of this, but Yuri, you know what you're getting with Yuri, kind of. I mean, I'm not sure. The ERA might not be good enough yet, but we'll see. But this dude's stuff is legit. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt. We talked about it. The injury thing doesn't seem to be too big of a concern. And then Zebi in 23, you dropped him already. He got sent down, so he's not even on the squad anymore. But overall, from like I said, from filling in the gaps and everything, I give this draft an A, probably a solid A. I mean, I don't see a lot of holes, and this is going to be a tough team to beat when I look at it, to be honest. Like, it's going to be, you have almost all the categories locked up. So, yeah, great draft. Learn from Riggs. That's an A draft.